Hi, I'm Dominique Charpentier. I am a modern classical and film composer from France. Some of you asked about my projects for 2022, so here we are in my little studio in Provence, and I will tell you a bit more about the projects I am working on. So, first of all, I am working on a video game soundtrack. It's a very cool game. It's a sci-fi adventure game, and it's about an adventure grounded in the intimate repercussions of a large-scale conflict. I think that's very actual, unfortunately. So this game is not finished yet. I am still working on the soundtrack with another guy of the team of the video game. And it should be released, I think, before June of 2022. So I'm very excited, of course. And it will be released on Xbox and PC for starter. So that's something very cool because it was a long time since I didn't work on a new video game soundtrack. I did a few video game soundtracks a long time ago, and that's something I really like. But this opportunity came to me, so of course I said yes, and I can't wait to share that with you. Then the second project I am working on this year is actually the videos I'm doing right now. So this one is a bit particular, but I've started a new series of videos on my YouTube channel called Tips for Aspiring Composers. So it's mainly for beginning composers, colleagues who struggle, making a living with their music. But it's also like a kind of documentary series, if you want, because I'm not a famous composer, I'm not a big star, so it's kind of a way of documenting my career and share that with you also if you're a fan, just if you like to listen to my music and maybe to understand better how it works, how I do every day, because sometimes you can wonder, so is a composer, what is he doing all day in the studio? Is he just playing, composing music? And actually there are a lot of things that you don't know that composers need to do beside just the inventing music, So that's a big project for me, but I don't want to put too much time in it, so it's exactly like I'm doing this video. I don't prepare a lot, I just put the lights, the camera, I make a short list of important things to say, but I don't read the scripts, it's very improvised, and that's also why it's not perfect, and maybe sometimes also my English is not perfect, but I do intend to get better doing these videos, and I'm trying to make it very honest and don't hide too much things from you, so that's the second project I'm working on this year, so these videos that you can watch on my YouTube channel. Of course, I put some short extracts on Instagram, TikTok, but you are limited to 1 minute, so it's not very interesting, I think, because I try to be very specific and to share some personal details, so my videos are a bit longer than 1 minute. It's 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, not more. I think it would be too much. So that's one of the projects I am working on also. So if you are interested, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I will be releasing one video every 2 weeks. Then the third project I am working on this year, it's actually, I'm not sure yet, but I've composed a few piano solo tracks when I was not working on the game or other projects. And I don't know yet if I will release a piano solo album or not. So actually I want to ask you, what do you think? Would you prefer that I release just singles? So singles, you know, one each month, for example. Do you prefer if I release a full album, a piano solo album, with just one or two singles and then all the album, and maybe make a CD or vinyl release? Or do you prefer that I make both, so a few singles that are more interesting in terms of marketing, you know, for the streaming platforms, because that's what people consume now? Or do you prefer an album which means that I have to work harder, you know, to put more time, but then maybe nobody will buy it or listen to it because it's not something that people do a lot these days. They don't want to put much time in listening to a full album, like buying the vinyl and listening to the album during half an hour, an hour. You know, a few people do that, and that's great. I think it's awesome. But I know these days that's not the majority of people that does that. So I'm asking you, what do you prefer? And maybe it can help me choose and decide if I go really like a real album, you know, with tracks that share something in common, with a real creative idea behind it, or if I just compose a few singles and whenever I have a new one, I will release it. So let me know, it definitely interests me knowing what you think. Then I also have an album project that I would like to do, but it's just at the beginning, so it will be definitely an album because it's an electronic music album. So I don't care about releasing singles. I just want to make an album. But maybe it will be for 2023 or 24 because it will take a lot of time. As I'm a beginner, you know, at electronic music. I started my journey as a composer, as a classical composer, or writing songs on my guitar, you know, even singing some stuff. So the transformation, you know, the change into an electronic music composer, it's very difficult because I think actually the guys doing that, it's for me they are like you know, Mozart or Beethoven, because what the classical composer used to do is harmony. I think the electronic music producers now they do it with the effects they use in their digital audio workstation, and it's amazing what they do, but it's incredibly complicated, you know, to make something interesting, and you have to work a lot on one track. It's not like creating a piano solo track. It's much easier, I think, in my opinion, because you don't have all these things to do, you know. It's just one instrument, a melody, a rhythm, harmony. But if you make electronic music, you have a lot of instruments and a lot of effects and little details to take care of in the digital audio workstation. So that's just an idea, this album. I have a few tracks, but they're not perfect, and I still need to work a lot on that. So just an idea, but it won't be for 2022. Just I will work on it whenever I have a little bit of time. Then I also have a few side projects that I wanted to do. So I have one that would be an EP or an album that I want to do with a friend, a modern classical composer. His name is Manuel Zito. I really like what he does. And we met a few years ago, and we discussed about making an album together. But you know, it's very complicated with the COVID situation. We couldn't meet in real life because I would prefer to do that in real life in the studio together. I think it would be much interesting than just sending stuff through internet, you know. So that's one project. Also, I definitely want to do. I don't know. Maybe we will succeed in finishing it in 2022. And then I also had the idea of making a modern classical piano covers album, you know, of piano solo tracks that I really love. So it could be tracks from Dirk Maassen, Ludovico Einaudi, Fabrizio Paterlini. Just an idea like this, because when I play the piano, I don't have a lot of time to play these days, but whenever I play it, if I want, or if I have to practice for a concert or something, I definitely play modern classical pieces, and it's really something that I would like to share with people. Although, of course, the tracks, they already exist, you know, in the original versions of these composers, but I would like to make different versions or just my interpretation, you know, with piano solo. So it's a side project as well. It's not, I don't know if I will do it this year as well, but sometimes I record a track and do a version of a modern classical piece. And then the final project I'm working on, I mean, maybe it should be the first one I told you in this video. It's my kids, because you know now I have two kids, Manon, who are 2 years old, and Marcel, who is almost 7 months old. So of course it means a lot of time, you know, when you have kids. I mean, if you want to share things with them, you have to put a lot of time to do things with them. So, and even you have all the, you know, daily things you have to do. So taking them to school or kindergarten and all these things. So of course that's also a big thing now in my life, and that means that I don't have all the time I would want to create music, to do all the projects I've been talking about before that. But of course that's a joy, it's not an issue or anything, it's just that now things are different than when I didn't have kids, and I definitely have to take that into consideration, because I don't want to be the kind of father that do a lot of work, you know, just working. I think the name is workaholic, you know, so like an addiction. I don't want to do that. I used to do that a few years ago, but now I don't want to do that. So I want to have balance in my life and to give time also to my kids. And that will be actually the topic of one of my videos for the tips for aspiring composers, you know, to try to balance work and the rest of life. And that's it. So as you can see, a lot of projects that I am working on, and also just final thing, I will also release, I don't know if it will be in 2022 or 23, but I did a film soundtrack 1 year ago, which is finished now, and the film should be released, I think, this year. So I will definitely talk about it when it will be released, and I'm very excited about this, because it's not, there are a few piano solo tracks, but it's mostly new things, you know, with a bit of strings and synthesizers. So fun stuff that I would love to share with you right now, but of course I can't now. So that's it. Feel free to leave a comment, ask questions about my work. Suggest also, if you want, the topic of another video. And as always, thank you for watching, and see you next time.